When you think of Dead by Daylight, what character would you imagine? Perhaps it's Trapper, Hillbilly, or some of the DLC ones like Michael Myers, Freddy, or even the Skull Merchant. But a classic and the only correct pick is the Huntress, a hulking, intimidating presence, humming a lullaby that's both soothing and creepy as she stalks the fog for her next victim. But how would she fare if she were plucked out of her hunting ground and forced to deal with the world of Fallout 4 and the Automatron issues? Can you beat Fallout 4 Automatron as the Huntress? Our journey begins in Sanctuary Hills after Jill destroyed the Institute.
Yeah, I thought this place seemed familiar. Too lazy to make a new save file.
First thing I needed were hatchets, so I teleported to Diamond City as that was the only place I could think of with a chem bench. I got lost literally at the entrance of the city and finally found my way there. I didn't know how many I needed for this, so I just started out with 7. On the way out, I walked by Nat and almost started my kill counter there. I tuned in to the radio frequency and then fast traveled to Corvega Assembly Plant to make my way there. I then came across some prey and tested out my hatchets, nailing the first dead center. I then hulked my way to the other and cut her in half with my axe, but I was not satisfied as I wanted more blood. I stalked my way to the top and caved this man's head in. I then carried on my merry way, getting into a fight with some flies. I saw the explosion in the distance and approached with fervor, nailing the first robot before getting stunned. I threw an axe at the second, swung on the third, and dismembered the fourth. After knocking down this annoying ass Eyebot, I talked to Ada. After spending so much time in the forest, it's no surprise that the Huntress would have the personality of stale Cheez-Its, so I failed the speech check. She tells us that she was a little weak baby robot to defend her friends, and I agree to help her find the mechanist.
Kill that bitch.
I decided, given how short this DLC was, that I would get to places I needed to go the old-fashioned way. So I hit the dusty trail and got a move on to General Atomic's factory. I got a ghoul with a direct bullseye along the way. I cut down a raider whose bullets were futile and missed 4 axe throws, electing to go in there and handle them myself. A super mutant stepped to me and got done in like the rest, along with his ugly dog, and after killing the last raider, I continued on, stalking the Commonwealth at night like the boogeyman I was. I came to a group of gunners and added them to my naughty list. I added 2 more raiders to my list, and finally made it to the factory, arriving like a bad omen. These bots had no idea what was coming to them. I cleared my way through the facility, eventually making it to the first Robo-Brain. However, the game wouldn't open the door for some reason, so I had to get creative. After a while, the Robo-Brain died, and then the door opened.
Why the fuck ain't it do that before all the struggle?
I pilfered the corpse, and then spoke to Ada, who used her smart robot knowledge to deduce it was a radar beacon from the mechanist. She wanted it installed onto her, and I watched her short self walk away before leaving the factory and popping back in the Sanctuary Hills to build the workbench. The Huntress is no Einstein, but I was able to somehow install this thing on Ada, and now it was on to the next phase. Along the way to the second Robo-Brain, I butchered the Rad Stag. I then died to a super mutant before finally making it to where I needed to go.
And oh my fucking dark, that was a lot of dying. Allow me to walk you through it. We tried to defeat this damn tank bot and got terrifically tenderized, and Hydra kept forgetting the fucking quick save, so we had to keep walking back from this point. Second time, we had our soul liberated by the laser of this Assaultron. Third time, we got punished. Fourth time, we found some raiders to coat the axe red with and got disintegrated. We got field goal punted, lasered for the 5th time, had our skull caved the fuck in, terrorized by the tank bot again, rapid fired by robots, and finally fucking killed that brain in a jar, dismantling that disgrace of a droid.
I took the transmitter and got out of there as fast as I could, teleporting back to Sanctuary Hills and speaking with Ada. She then told me there was one more Robo-Brain to take care of.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Are you fucking kidding me?
And echoing Chimera's sentiments, I reluctantly went to the location she told me about, Fort Hagen's satellite array. Appearing at Fort Hagen, I then made my way to the satellite array. I turned the outside of the array into a scrapyard, beamed a turret with a hatchet, decapitated some nobody, and killed the legendary enemy. I then got lost for about 3 minutes, figured out what I needed to do, and went inside. I descended the stairs, carefully disarmed the traps, and got first place in the hatchet throwing Olympics, killing all 3 enemies with a well-placed strike. More tossing, more getting lost,
This place was so fucking confusing.
and eventually I reached Jezebel. I destroyed the Eyebot in the cage because shut up, and then talked to the big meanie in the green fluid. She called me stupid, but also important, bartering a body for info, and then I took her to leave. Ahad thought that was the wrong move, so I showed him to mind his own business, and then got lost again.
You know, I think I'm starting to notice a pattern.
Eventually, I made it out of Ahad's abode, made more hatchets, and got done in by an Assaultron. I then got into the most infuriating melee battle of my life with her, and finally put her to rest with a well-placed hatchet. I then killed one of the Protectrons and kept missing the other before finally getting it right, putting a muzzle on that one as well. I saw a teaser for a future video, put a Rust Devil in the ground, and as I wasted hatchets, I just decided to keep going. I got killed by the succubus,
And guess who didn't fucking save at any point before that?
so I had to go through all of that stuff a second time. I made it back to the succubus and Ivy, killed the seductress, and after 8 hatchets and a few swings, finally put an end to Ivy. I then walked up the stairs and out the bunker.
Is it finally over?
I then informed Ada about the deal with Jezebel, and together we went back to Sanctuary to build her a body.
Of course it isn't.
So back to Sanctuary we went. After 5 minutes of having to scrounge up enough material, I built her body and forgot to start my recording again, but we ended up outside the Robco Sales Center. After trying to pick a lock and was too stupid, I went inside, disarmed the laser trap, and had Ada open the door. The door took a comically long time to open, both of them, but eventually it was on to the next room. The first time I thought I was the Flash and could make it to the end, but I was not, and subsequently died for my insolence. Doors opening again, more waiting, and this time I decided to be smart and go around. Except I was too stupid to pick the lock or hack the terminal, so I had to do things the hard way and dismantle every single laser you see here. After a long time, they were all gone, and I stepped through into what would later be my fresh hell. I swatted down the Eyebot before the Mechanist even took a breath, and then got done in for my mistake.
Thank Dark you finally saved.
I hit 2 hatchet shots and died again, face planting onto the cold steel.
4 hatchets and these fuckers were put to rest.
Moving on, Ada opened the door, and I swatted the servomech bot before getting ran up on by the sentry bot, putting it down with the hatchet and putting down the chaser. I then sharp shot the turret with a hatchet like the pro I am. I killed 2 junk bots, asked the turret a question, and destroyed 2 more bots. A tank bot showed up and
completely ruined the mood. And then we ended up back at square one because someone forgot to quick save again. More robot killing, more rampage, and more bullshit that filled me with unbridled rage.
We finally killed the tank bot and made it to the next door, and died again. I got bullied by 2 robots and laid them to rest before riding the gondola across the chasm, walking down Arkham Asylum, and after more tedious axe-only gameplay, finally made it to the Mechanist. I confronted her, but she didn't listen, electing to send more robots after me to teach me a lesson. I went full Patrick Bateman on these robots, sinking my axe into their skulls like I was digging for platinum. The Mechanist's hubris was high, but my bloodlust was higher, and as I spilled oil onto the ground from her robots, I began to imagine what it would be like to hunt her. I took down a bot with a hatchet, swatted 2 Eyebots,
and nearly got fucked by this dual bot, but we were not going to reload this checkpoint. Eventually that shithead died, and we took out all the garbage and Eyebots this little bitch behind the glass kept sending. Eventually the power died, we coaxed the Mechanist out of her little cocoon, and after embedding the head of the axe into her forehead, we talked to Ada because we had to, and I'm thrilled to say we fucking beat Fallout Automatron as the Huntress.